It's coffee. It's comics. It's music. It's Nerds on Coffee.
Let's start with the shit that we hated about Captain Marvel so we can end on a high note.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
First and foremost, continuity, timeline error. They call it S.H.I.E.L.D. throughout the movie. However, this happened 15 years or so before Iron Man. And in Iron Man, not till the end of the movie do they call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, Coulson, throughout the entire movie, the whole running joke is that they're like, well, you guys got to get a better name for that. He was like, yeah, we're working on it. So it's clear through multiple statements that they have not come up with being able to call it S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. According to Iron Man 1. But then you watch Captain Marvel, which takes place in like the early to mid 90s, and the whole time they're like, S.H.I.E.L.D. And you're just like, what?
Yeah, like, continuity. And that feels like a pretty easy one that they should have been able to fix.
Well, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was also established in the 40s, and you're telling me that entire time they didn't have the acronym, which is fine. Or they did. What the fuck was the whole thing with Coulson about in Iron Man 1?
I think I want to argue that the joke in Iron Man was the mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
Because as you said, they had all the stuff in the 40s with
all the Hydra shit and like
Hydra shit, yeah. And also, I would argue that the other error of Iron Man 1, and obviously this is a Captain Marvel conversation, but now that I'm thinking about it, is that Tony's dad created S.H.I.E.L.D. Wouldn't he have at least known a little bit about it?
Yeah, he's I don't know. I mean, like, the very nature of S.H.I.E.L.D. is to be as secretive as possible. But
right, but when his dad died, he had access to all of his documents and computers and blah, blah, blah.
You don't think that would have been in, like, a separate document?
No, I think that Tony Stark, boy genius, probably should have been able to find that.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
All right, back to Captain Marvel. Love the twist on Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel was cool.
Love that.
It was pretty great.
I really love the twist that the Skrulls were good.
Well, they were innocent.
Yes, correct.
Blameless, no. Innocent, yes.
Yeah, and he, the main Skrull, do you remember his name?
Talos.
Talos says that. He's like, I have a lot of blood on my hands.
Exactly. He's just like, it's a war. No one is blameless in a war. But they didn't fucking start it. Like,
right.
They were defending themselves, and they were painted out to be the bad guy.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. I loved Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury in this.
It was cool.
I wasn't a big lover of the newbie Coulson.
Interesting.
I
thought he was right on par.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish there was better banter in the stairwell scene.
Oh, yeah.
Like, instead of it being looks, I wish there was, like, maybe Nick says, like, you have an alliance choice right now.
Yeah, at least something to
something that really, like, ties it together, that, like, Coulson is Fury's guy through and through, not just like a look.
Well, I mean, yeah, it would have been cool to get a little bit more out of that scene, but you do get an explanation for that whenever he and Captain Marvel are in the plane after that flying away, and he's talking about kind of like he like made his own decision and like, you know, so that was cool, but like I agree with you. It'd been cool to have something more in that scene, but would they at least addressed it, which
100%.
lays the foundation for like the integrity that Coulson has throughout his career.
100%. And not to this is a nitpick, but I would have loved if they had the foresight that in the in Avengers 1, you would have seen Carol's best friend as one of the helicarrier pilots. Because remember where Nick Fury offers her a job?
Oh, yeah, that would have been badass.
That would have been so gangster.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But that's just me nitpicking. Other things I loved was, I thought, I keep blanking on his name all day. Help me out here. Dumbledore.
Wait, what?
He plays Dumbledore. He also plays...
Ian McKellen?
No! What are you talking about? Have you not seen the newest Harry Potter?
Well, Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law.
Oh, you mean young Dumbledore?
Yes, yeah, I couldn't.
You said Dumbledore, and I was like, wait a minute. Like, no, Jude Law.
I couldn't remember his name. I loved his character.
It was great.
Yeah, great character.
I love Jude Law. Like, love him. And so I thought it was acted really, really well. Like, the character development for his arc from what you see him start out as and then turn into, I think is really good.
I wish they had more backstory on the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, I do think it's cool, and I mean, I knew this from reading the graphic novels, but like, I just always think it's cool that the Kree civilization and race is governed by artificial intelligence.
Right? Yeah, I wish they'd
It's a
like
really
dive
amazing
deeper into
concept.
that.
It's a really amazing concept that you could really run with as a subplot in a movie like that.
100%. Best part of the movie, seeing Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser is one of the most badass characters in Marvel.
Yeah, I think a lot of
He's
people,
underplayed.
He's underplayed in all the MCU movies. When he died, like, understand that he is not this savage, like mindless, power-hungry guy that they display him to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. As you told me on our walk home, he's part of the Illuminati with Black Panther.
I believe he's part of the Illuminati.
He is, for all intents and purposes, even keeled about wanting to eradicate the Skrull from the universe. He is not this like bloodbath, like exiled soldier that they make him out to be.
From what I remember, and I could be wrong, but from what I remember, I think he's a part of the Illuminati, and I also think that he approaches things from a perspective of logic of like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to have the Skrull as a race. They're a leech on the universe's resources, and so let's wipe them out, because then that's whenever they start working as an extension of the Kree army to go through that whole war with the Skrull civilization.
I did love the writing when they were like, go get the accusers, find Ronan. Yeah. Instead of saying Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way they wrote it.
Yeah, the way they framed that was super dope. I just wish that we would have... First of all, I didn't realize that the Accusers were even really going to be a part of Captain Marvel.
Totally.
It was awesome seeing them in there, but then as soon as they even mentioned it, I was like, oh my God, I just want the rest of the movie to be about the Accusers. Like, fuck the rest of this shit. Like,
I wish they touched down.
Yeah, I was hoping that there was going to be a battle between Ronan and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and also there's a couple of scenes...
Which wouldn't have been in accordance with the continuity of graphic novels, but it would have been badass to see. I thought that's where they were going.
Totally. Also, there was a lot of scenes from the previews that were not in the movie.
Oh, yeah. What else? Got real... What did I say this at the beginning? Maybe got real choked up at Stan Lee's.
Yeah,
like right when
it was really good.
Right when we started
homage.
this episode, I mentioned I got really choked up at Stan Lee's cameo.
Yeah, it was really great.
Oh, you missed it. You were in the bathroom whenever the first opening credits were rolling. They said like,
in loving memory.
Well, no, they just said after they did the Marvel Studios title scene, they just had a black scene that just said "Thank you, Stan." Like, and it was just like and the whole theater like erupted. Like it was like a real heavy moment, and everyone was just like, "Fuck yeah!"
Totally,
it was super cool. Just man. Anyway,
I think, and we had mentioned this earlier, but just a deep dive, the post-credit scene with Captain Marvel.
You mean it's got Captain America, Black Widow, and Bruce Banner.
And Bruce Banner, and they're like trying to figure out how to use this device thing.
So that post-credit scene, for the first time, the post-credit scene of Captain Marvel aligns with picking up where a trailer left off, not where a movie left off. So that's the first time we've seen this. It's because they literally are being so secretive about Endgame. Everything that they've released in the trailers or previews has been from the first 20 minutes of the film, and the post credits or the through credits scene in Captain Marvel picks up where the trailer leaves off of Endgame.
So it's still within the first 20 minutes.
Absolutely. So they're trying to figure it out, and then obviously, if you're listening to this, Captain Marvel's already been out for a week or so by now.
If you haven't watched it and you're listening to this, like, shame on you. You should know by now.
Yeah, you should know. You should have gone and seen it. And we're also, it's going to be in the description of this episode. We're going to the Captain Marvel spoilers, but. She fucking dropped. They're trying to figure out how to work the Fury's like transponder or whatever you would call it to get a hold of Captain Marvel that she modified for him in the movie, and like they're trying to figure it out, and then all of a sudden they turn around, she's fucking there. And then she goes, "Where's Fury?" And then it cuts off. And it's
And
just
you're
like,
yeah,
what?
And as we said earlier, if you had any doubt of Captain Marvel's relevance in Endgame, it was squashed right there.
100%. Massive role. Like,
Yeah,
massive role.
You find out in the movie that her power originates from the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, or the Mind Stone. No,
It's not the Mind Stone. Vision as a Mind Stone. It's the Space Stone.
it's the Space Stone. Yeah, Tesseract is the Space Stone.
Yeah, because it's not power.
Power's the purple one.
It's not power. It's not reality. It's not time. It's not space.
Is it
Or
time?
no, it's not time, and it's not
What's it- oh.
soul. So it's got to be space.
Yeah,
it's got to be Space Stone.
Yeah, Space Stone.
Yeah, because what do we have? We have time.
Well, no,
reality,
of course Space Stone. That's why she can go nova.
power.
It's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
star.
Yeah, it's like we have time, power, space, mind, soul, reality. Those are the 6 stones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I got them right. I might be. Someone correct me if I'm not in a comment, but yeah, it's got to be the Space Stone.
Yeah, so her power originates from it, just like the Scarlet Witches.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, it looks like her power is significantly more than Scarlet Witch's. Even though in the comics,
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch is like the most powerful character, right?
One of for sure, but in the comics, it's pretty much like you pretty much have like Thor, Captain Marvel, Captain Universe. Like there's not really. And who's your guy that you love that they don't ever do in the movies? That like anytime I mention Captain Universe or Marvel, you're like, oh, but don't forget about this guy. And like you love him, and they never. He's like super. He's also one of the most powerful.
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock. Yeah. So So
Adam Warlock is the most powerful being. And they tease him at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Badass. But apparently they're gonna do a lot of like Eternals movies after, a lot more space stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. It'll be fun to see that. It's gonna be interesting how they tie a lot of those things in, because that's where we get the gardeners, and that's where we get Ex Nihilo, who plays a pretty crucial role in a lot of the like Infinity's continued storyline.
Totally.
Excuse me. Yeah, definitely still so much on the table for the MCU moving forward.
Pretty excited about it. I mean,
Yeah.
there has to be like 3 more Captain Marvel movies, 2 more Black Panther at least, 2 more Doctor Strange at least.
Yeah, if they want to really give us a good spectrum of this character development and this story arc, like they need to continue pushing with multiple more titles per character.
I'm confused why, and maybe you have a good perspective on this, but why Captain Marvel did so bad on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, probably the worst out of any Marvel movie recently.
What was it at 80? Whatever.
80 by the Rotten Tomato people, but 57 by the fans.
Well, I think people are trying to anchor too much of what's going on in our society and in our culture right now into the movie, and they're trying to see too much of a parallel of what we're trying to accomplish with what's going on with just with women in industry and things that are going on. It's like, I think a lot, which I'm not saying that they shouldn't be making that more of a point in movies. It's not even kind of what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, I think people were anchoring a little bit too much, and they're like, I think a lot of people assumed, or at least were let down when they didn't see this like empowered woman story, which it definitely wasn't. Not that, you know what I mean? Like, cause you see like Carol Danvers like arc as a person kind of go through, and it is really apparent throughout the movie that she has been pushed down her whole life, and it's about her like finding it within herself to like stand back up and actually be powerful.
I thought it was a great movie
and strong, and so I don't really know what people were looking for.
Yeah,
to be
I mean,
honest
to put
with you,
to put it in perspective, how much fuckery there is. The Hulk movie we just watched has a 70% by the fans.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel was way more on par with being part of the MCU than this Hulk movie was.
100%.
But I understand why people have like their kind of gripes with Captain Marvel, but I honestly don't know what specifically people were looking for whenever they're throwing a lot of these cultural things at it with what we're going through right now, and you know, just in society in general. Like, I just like, what specifically are you looking for? I mean, like, you're not gonna like, I don't know. I just think they're trying to anchor too much to it, and so one of the gripes that I read was that they just felt like it was less an origin story, less a character movie, less a development of who she is and who she has to become and who she should be. It was less all of that and more just a bridge to get to Endgame. and so they're just like, well, it just seemed like they threw Captain Marvel together just so that we could have the last one before Endgame, and like it did not feel like that to me. There's definitely a heaviness in the movie because you know what it's building to,
Totally.
and you know what Captain Marvel
signifies.
You know what she represents and
Yeah,
signifies. For sure.
my gripes were more on continuity.
Me too.
I thought that there was a lot of sloppiness with connecting this to be 1990 in the MCU timeline than I was about anything else.
Yeah, me too. It definitely was my that was the thing that I couldn't stop focusing on too. It was just like there were some continuity things. It was definitely a lot sloppier than I expected in terms of a lot of those details that again, like somebody should have caught the shield thing. Like,
yeah, like all the things I read, like people were more angry about the fact, like one thing I saw that Kevin Feige had to defend was why had Nick Fury not called Captain Marvel before this? And in my mind, I was like, why would he need to? He had the Avengers.
Exactly.
He did not need to call. Kevin Feige's response, which fair enough, was, you don't know that he didn't call Captain Marvel. We just didn't show it.
Exactly.
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, which is fine and fair and works perfectly okay.
Right.
But, like, that's not even relevant to me.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't
like
matter.
there wasn't a world-ending catastrophe that was not somewhat under control by the pieces he had that he would have needed to call in a celestial being.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just.
But like nowhere do have I read about this shield error.
Yeah, what was the other one that we saw? Another one too that we were just like, why isn't anybody talking about this either? There was some other continuity thing that we were like, this is
the eye.
Oh yeah, the eye.
In Winter Soldier, Robert Redford's character literally depicts a mission in like Jakarta or something that he went on with Nick Fury and where he lost his eye. It's like talked about in the movie.
Yeah.
Pretty
because they're trying to
intensely
provide a backstory as to the connection and like the seriousness of the connection between the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. that Robert Redford plays and Nick Fury's character.
Exactly.
Nick Fury. And so they're trying to like really, really hammer that home because ultimately, as we know now, in Winter
betrays
Soldier,
them.
he betrays them and
Right,
because
and
he's part of Hydra.
That needs to be a big thing.
Yeah, because he's part of Hydra. And so like you can't set it up that big and then also then just go into Captain Marvel and be like, well, a cat scratched his eye. A mutant space cat scratched his eye, and so now he lost the use of it and he has to wear patch.
And I wish they had in this one, I wish they had brought in a few other Shield Shield familiar faces from the early movies as like Easter eggs. Like
that'd been cool.
Who's the bald dude that they do in Civil War that they throw off the roof and Falcon catches?
Oh yeah. He's one of the higher ups that's with Hydra. That
I
we
wish
find
he was
out.
like a newbie at Shield. This one, or like who's the dude in the elevator, the combat guy?
Oh, Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo.
He's like the head of security.
I wish he was like a newbie recruit.
You see him coming in, because he had a huge role in Winter Soldier. I mean, he almost kicked the shit out of Cap, like almost. Definitely didn't, but yeah, it was crazy.
But there's definitely some.
No, not Cap. Cap pretty much demolished all of them in the elevator scene whenever he was going down.
But then he get like
the end of
super
the
soldier
movie,
serum.
But the end of the movie, he's fighting Falcon.
Right.
And then that's whenever he leaves, the building comes down, Falcon escapes. Anyway, yeah. No, I don't think he had serum.
Oh, I thought he did at the end. I thought that's like he came back or something.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. We'll find out later.
I love Frank Grillo, though. Like, he's a super dope actor. Like,
great character.
Great character. He played it super well.
I wish I saw him in it.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, and also I wish I saw Robert Redford as a younger agent.
Yeah,
like
climbing the ranks as a S.H.I.E.L.D. executive.
With Nick Fury. That's how it should have been.
Because we're coming out of the 80s whenever these alleged missions took place that kind of forged their relationship. We're into the 90s now whenever Captain Marvel, like the vast majority of the story takes place in the mid-90s. And they would have already had a substantial relationship at this point.
100%.
And his no matter where he was with S.H.I.E.L.D. in terms of, working for them or directing or being some type of authority, like no matter where he was, he would have been involved in this situation.
100%.
Like I'm at least assuming that someone of that stature would have been involved in this situation.
And I loved how they used Nick's full name as like the Skrull identifier.
Oh yeah.
But I wish they had used like his inability to know what the council was as the indicator.
Right.
Like I wish they like connected it more to the current plots. Like where was the council? That would have been great to see.
Exactly.
Like an earlier, younger council.
There's a lot of things well, not a lot. There were a few things that over the course of the movie that you were left to assume.
I think that's what people meant probably by it was a bridge. Like there wasn't as much care thought about the details, more about the overarching story.
Definitely agree. Again, it was a little sloppier than what we're used to.
Yeah, just a little.
I still think it was a good movie.
I'm gonna watch it again.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it for sure.
I wish they had Hala. I wish they had like gone deeper in there.
Yeah, that'd have been cool to see a little bit more of the Kree civilization because they are extremely technologically and intellectually advanced and superior over almost every other race in the galaxy.
100%.
Like the Kree civilization, even reading through the comics, is just like, it's unbelievable how much they have at their disposal. It's cool though. I loved the arc with Marvel and who you find out she is and what she was doing, why she was doing it. I thought it was cast really well. I thought the movie was cast great.
It was cast great. The other one that we were talking about earlier was the ancillary Kree Star Force characters were just too underdeveloped.
They were a little underdeveloped, and they also put too much weight in their relationship with Captain Marvel when she was when she was with the Kree, like Star Force. Like there's like you're led to believe only through one statement at the end of the movie that she has like major beef with this other girl who's on the Force.
Exactly.
And the girl's just like, I always just hated you, blah 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 blah. And they put so much weight behind that moment, and you fucking never even know any of that leading up to it. And so you're just like, where is this coming from? It seems arbitrary that you would throw that in with no context, but B, it seems weird that you would create a moment with so much weight without giving us any insight into why that even exists in the first place.
100%.
And so that was my thought. I was just like, why? That's a dumb statement. Why would they throw that in there? Like, it doesn't make sense because you didn't see this like rivalry between them. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
And they definitely made her out to be like this Kree militant number 2 spec ops badass soldier or whatever. They threw all that weight onto that character, but you never saw any of it. Like they treated her like that and she acted and carried herself like that, but you never saw anything like that. And she got her ass handed to her like pretty easily.
Yeah, she got taken. My favorite part at the end was when Jude Law's character tried to give a pump up statement and Carol was just like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, and just railed him.
Yeah. It was really good. I was just thinking, we'll probably, if you're cool with it, I think we should cut the last 25 minutes, our Captain Marvel piece, and like put it out like the next few days.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Just like it alone, and then we'll do the whole thing next Sunday.
Yeah, that's great. We can just put out and just be like, hey, we got a Captain Marvel episode. You know, there's going to be spoilers. Go see it if you want to listen to it.
Totally. And then you'll get it as the full stream when we put out the Hulk's episode.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, anything else about the movie?
I mean,
like
I'm trying to think.
The end credit scene was dope.
The second one was great. Also,
was funny.
I wanted to talk about that. Is the so it was basically the what do they call them? The cats?
Oh, were they Flargans?
Flargans.
I don't know. That might be the wrong word.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah.
I think the Flargan. Flargan coughs up, burps up the Tesseract, which in and of itself means that the Flargan is so incredibly strong as a character.
Yeah.
Like
well, just
physically.
as a being.
Yeah,
it's so far advanced that they can literally hold
an infinity
an elemental stone.
But does that work continuity-wise that that's on Nick Fury's desk in the 90s?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't remember.
I mean, we'll find out by Captain America: Civil War. No, by Avengers Endgame. Sorry, not Avengers Endgame. We'll find out by Avengers 1 because there's the Tesseract-powered weaponry on the helicarrier. And I know they talk about it, so we'll be able to know if that timeline adds up then.
Yeah, for sure. Because we do know that there are some timeline issues in Captain Marvel that they either
Didn't care about.
they didn't care about, or they neglected, or like someone just didn't do their job and research to make sure that they were being accurate.
Which is just like crazy to me, because if that's someone's job, please hire me.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll take half of whatever you were paying that asshole, and I'll do twice the job.
Totally. That'd be
Like-
so great. Here's your job, man. Go watch 19 Marvel movies and take notes on every continuity error that could take place if something came out between the years of 1990 and 2008.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be so great.
Like, there should have also been, you know what would have been a great post-credit scene to this movie, which is more of a Nick Fury movie post-credit scene than a Captain Marvel, but this was kind of a Nick Fury movie just as much as it was a Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Is that I would have loved to see a scene of Nick Fury recruiting Black Widow and Hawkeye.
That'd have been dope.
Right?
Because they definitely came through on that timeline.
Right
for
around
sure.
then, yeah.
Yeah, because that's whenever Nat was coming out of working with the KGB.
Right at like 16. And she's probably like in her 30s, 35 right now as a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
So this would have been like perfect timing.
Yeah, that definitely would have been cool to see a little bit more of that. But, I mean, they had the room in there. They could have put that into other post-credit scenes. I mean, they could have done, you know what I mean? Like, they could have done a little bit more of that. But it's very clear because of the absence of a lot of those things that they were pretty much, at least it seems that they were tunnel visioned on getting the end game.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I think that.
So I'm not dismissing that critique that people threw out there. I definitely understand.
Which the barometer to me is if this movie came out in 2014, I'm pretty sure that there would have been a lot more just Easter eggs.
Oh, for sure. Well, because they still would have been having, they would have had so many other things to continue to build toward. It feels like Endgame is like going to be the last thing that Marvel does, and they're just like getting senioritis, and they're just like, all right, we got one more final left, and let's just, you know what I mean? Like hand in this
Totally.
last study guide, and we're going to go for it, you know? But it's not that at all. There's still so much more to expand on, and they even have more movies coming out after it. They're going to continue the MCU, and they're going to expand so much on other characters we still have.
I mean, how
introduce new
can't
characters,
you?
like-
Even with all of the critiques that we're talking about, this movie grossed $500 million in 2 days.
Yeah.
$500 million in 2 days worldwide.
Insane.
It probably cost what, $300 million to make, give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah,
I know
maybe,
the Avenger movies are closer to $500 million to make, but I assume that this one was closer to.
Well, you don't have as big of an A-list cast.
No, the
because
cast-
it's
the cast
it's a
money is
solo,
pretty low.
It's a solo story, so you don't have to have everyone in it.
Yeah.
CGI was on point.
I mean, it was
Like-
only $150 million.
comparatively, that's pretty low to a lot of the other
Avenger
Marvel
movies are $500 million.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So think about it. In 2 days of being released, it's made 3 times its cost.
That's insane.
Insane. Insane. Captain Marvel is another one for Kevin Feige's Marvel, and testament to the company's brand and Disney's marketing prowess. Yeah, it is crazy. What is the highest grossing Marvel movie ever? Is The Avengers still? 1.
The first one.
Yeah. Not opening weekend, just ever.
What's the total gross? Is it over 500 million?
Like ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $3 billion.
Oh, holy shit.
Including like DVD sales and whatever.
Oh yeah, just everything.
Everything.
Yeah, it was just such a massive release. Like no one had ever really done anything that scale before. Building
No.
up to it, taking the time, developing the characters, and then having a collective movie that just like
That just hit.
everything
It hit
just
everywhere.
nailed it.
Yeah, there aren't really any errors in Avengers.
Nah, I mean, I'm sure
Like,
if there
you
are,
have
I'm sure we'll find them.
You
but-
have gripes in Avengers 2, and I have some gripes with Civil War, but Avengers itself is pretty perfect.
Avengers is really good.
And so is Ragnarok is perfect.
Oh, Ragnarok is Ragnarok's in the top 5 for me.
Hallelujah.
Of yeah, that's just the vet. Jeff Goldblum is the
It's
fucking
so good.
man.
I would say in no particular order my top 5, and we're going to probably debate this so many times over the next few months,
Probably.
is Avengers, Ragnarok, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Top 5.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm definitely going with Ragnarok, Infinity War. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really liked Iron Man 3. Really, I mean, that was one of the first ones that got as dark as it did in terms of
It
story.
got dark.
So that's, I mean, I definitely liked the arc of that because for the first time, you kind of had a sense of hopelessness of like, I guess I really don't know what's going to happen at the end of this. Like,
Totally.
we don't really know. Like, there's not that sense of like, all right,
They might kill him.
We know they're going to prevail, but how are they going to do it?
No,
and what plot twists are gonna
I
come
would
out?
say that there's a point in Iron Man 3 where you're like, maybe he doesn't.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
Especially because of how it starts.
100%.
Because the movie is essentially a recount of Tony's experience.
Totally.
And
With
so-
the Jatari.
Yeah, so Ragnarok, Infinity War, Iron Man 3, Black Panther.
Black Panther's in your top 5.
Yeah, I loved Black Panther.
I did too. I just don't. I think it's like my 6 or 7.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and then maybe I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It's 2,
Volume
really?
2. Yeah, I like Volume 2.
I loved 1. 1's so good. I want to rewatch. I might rewatch 1 tonight.
Let's do yeah. That's so dope.
But yeah, so I mean, we've been rambling. I think now for like 35 minutes.
Yeah, this will be a good little supplemental episode to put out to just have for Captain Marvel and some other Marvel talk. And
Yeah.
then we'll still have the whole thing come out with the Hulk release, and you guys can hear this again if you want. But
Love it. And I mean, we're probably going to release this Tuesday or Wednesday this week. You can get it ready for that, right?
oh, yeah, it's not a big
But
deal.
again, as I said, when you're listening to this week, we have some amazing guests. We have people that came on the Big Brother. We have Warner Music Group folk, Radio Disney folks, who are just going to basically ignore the fact that he's Radio Disney and just start bombarding him with Marvel questions.
Disney. Yeah,
I just think we should just hit him with Disney questions.
100%.
We got Miley and Noah's tour manager. We got Riptide Music Group's head of A&R. We got
Is Wasserman this week?
we have
Yeah.
Wasserman Sports
Wasserman
Agency,
Sports.
the number 2 sports agency in the world. Their head of talent marketing's coming on.
Yeah.
It's a jam
Which, by
packed
the
week.
way, his promo photo that he sent in
Is
to you, it's
amazing.
It's hands down the best one that we've
yeah,
gotten.
it's so good. I can't wait to share that.
It's so good.
We're filming 8 episodes this week. We're gonna release them all over the next 2 months. So we're really excited for that. Oh, and then we're also doing a non-Marvel movie on Tuesday. Probably release that sometime next week. It's
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods
Yep.
with Matt Meadow, editor-in-chief of the number 1 dance publication in the world, Your EDM. He picked the movie. We wanted to do something a little bit more fun with him.
Yeah.
He's really witty, really engaging. So we wanted to kind of have a popcorn and soda movie night with him instead of just the normal interview and see how that goes.
Yeah, and we're watching a scary movie, which is going to be awesome because
I'm going to bring a blanket.
I love scary movies, but I also get scared way too easily.
Should we bring you a
And
pacifier?
I've also never seen Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, you haven't?
So that's the thing too. It's just like it's
Amazing.
and correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty well regarded as like one of the better horror. Like it's pretty.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty up there in terms of what I've heard.
Its ending is so good that I typically hate horror movies.
Gotcha.
And I love this movie.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that. We've got some fun things coming up. So, yeah. Thanks for sticking through Hulk with us.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. For those of you that are just listening to our Captain Marvel recap, again, the whole Hulk episode will come out next Sunday. Tonight, we had Iron Man. We hope you loved it. Excited for you to stay on this Marvel journey with us. Probably take us through the summer to do all 20 movies now.
Yeah.
But let's get through this journey. We're going to do all of them. It's only going to get more exciting. And then we have Endgame and Spider-Man Homecoming to look forward to.
Yep, those are gonna be really good.
You have a tour coming up?
Yeah, I've got a tour in April coming up. Logan Henderson, Jake Miller. Definitely, obviously, if you follow either one of us individually, you'll see shared tour dates for that, so you guys can come out to shows. Would love to meet anyone that's a fan of the show, but we will. We'll see you out there if you want to make it out. Real quick, I wanna wrap up, but real quick. Saw a trailer for the new Hellboy with
Oh, how was it?
with David Harbour.
Good?
Looked pretty cool. Looked pretty
Sick.
cool. I'm excited about that. Yeah, so
What's your
got Hellboy,
biggest,
got
what's
Hellboy
your
to look forward
biggest
to.
note on it?
There's a really, really epic scene of him kind of coming up from what looks like the pits of hell with these massive horns.
Oh.
Like, the imagery is
let's
already
go.
really, really good. And it's rated R. I think I'm the most excited about that.
Wow,
'Cause that
they went all out with it.
Because that means they're not pulling any punches.
Let's go.
They're not holding back a fucking bit. Like, the R rating to me is the stamp of approval of no limits. Like, let's do it. We're going to tell the full story. We're not going to cut any corners. And we're also not going to hold anything back because we want to, like, make it more palatable. We're going to give you the full version. Because as good as the Ron Perlman's Hellboy was, it was PG-13.
Yep.
And there's just certain things you can't do, which is fine. I'm not saying you can't make a good movie. Almost every single one of these Marvel movies that we're watching are PG-13, and they're some of the best ones I've ever seen. So I'm not saying that, but there is part of me too that just I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it's rated R. That means it's probably gonna be really violent. And so
100%.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great day, week, whatever, and we'll see you next time.
Love you. Bye.